this will probably be the last God of War thing we watch, because we just have a couple weeks until the War of the Gods, right? And the only reason I even decided to watch this is because it just shows, from what I understand, it's just gonna show like some of the behind the scenes with like how they worked on the combat. If there's another behind the scenes that doesn't go into spoiler stuff, we might check that out later, like next week. But at this point, I don't really need to watch. I'm like sold, right? But combat is my thing, especially parries. So I was like, you know what? Let's just check it out. Let's just see what they got to say. So this is God of War Ragnarok, combat and enemies elevated. Let's check it out. Is it in 4K? Yeah.
From a combat perspective, I always, and I still feel like the meat and potatoes of any God of War game is combat.
I think that's fair. God, the music is so good.
My name is Roberto Clemente. All my friends call me Bert. I'm a senior combat animator here at Sony Santa Monica.
My name is Kim Wynn, and I'm a gameplay animator.
Hi, I'm Sabra, and I'm a senior VFX artist on God of War Ragnarok.
My name is Grace Pan, and I'm a gameplay animator in God of War Ragnarok.
Hi, I'm Stephen O'Hara with GBA, combat designer on God of War. And I create interesting and memorable creatures that players like to attack and defend against.
Cool.
As an animator, you gave life to characters. You make them move, you gave them personalities, you gave them weight.
My role as a VFX artist
Oh yeah,
is
they're very
to
talented.
put
Absolutely.
the power behind a move. You are in control of fire and earth and water and wind. Whether you are throwing your axe or on the receiving end of an enemy spell, VFX is what really gives the movement and the danger to every move that a character or enemy makes.
I work really closely with the design team and the tech art team on this project specifically. We actually work a lot with camera, along with the guidance of our great camera team. So I find myself.
What if they
doing
showed in the
choreography
behind the
sometimes.
scenes, people just like having like a street fight? I was like, I don't know if you could legally do
about being a
this.
combat designer isn't the technical implementation of creating a creature, but it's really navigating that line
that was
between
cool.
frustrating and engaging. We want to make something that makes players lean forward and focus and really try hard against that enemy and feel good about overcoming that, but we don't want to make them feel defeated if they can't figure something out.
And then it feels rewarding when you win, not because it was impossible, but because it was fun and engaging.
I agree.
After the last game, we've heard the community cry out for more mini-bosses, bigger
that was
creatures,
sick.
and enemy variety, and this time we really leaned into that. So in God of War Ragnarok, you're going to be traveling to all 9 realms, and each realm is going to have like its own theme of enemies that
God, I
are very
can't wait,
unique to that
chat.
space. For example,
God,
in
it's so
Alpine,
sick.
we're familiar with the Dark Elves, but this time around we're going to be fighting Light Elves, such as the Light Elf Warrior. One of the key learnings from the last God of War game is we don't have to think about the camera and how close combat is going to feel. We already have that knowledge, so we can build upon the close camera that we have, and we can iterate on enemies, creating more interesting scenarios. In the last game, Atreus was just starting to fight alongside Kratos, and he was learning from the master tactician. So in this game, he's trying to prove himself a little bit more, and we built upon those mechanics with him.
The previous God of War, Atreus was still a kid, right? So he has a lot of dependency on his father. And for this game, you will see Atreus moving more independently on his own as a companion.
All right, Atreus. All right, little motherfucker. All right.
The VFX for Kratos, I think what the players really love is the powerfulness of it. When you are playing as Kratos, you really do feel like the God of War. And moving into Ragnarok, we want to really make something bigger, make it stronger, make it more of a spectacle. You want them to be like, oh my gosh, I didn't know that the Blades of Chaos could get even better, but
It's gonna be
look at
so
that.
fun, chat. In basically a week, we're gonna be
So as
playing
Kratos
God
gets
of War
more
3
powerful, we can
remastered.
have access to newer combos and newer abilities that will increase the combat depth of each weapon. For the blades, one of the moves that I've really enjoyed from previous God of Wars is the combat grapple, and we're going to be bringing that with a new twist.
I'm very very excited for players to
God.
try the blade grapple.
It's gonna be so much
traversal
fun,
moves
man.
That brings so much more speed into the movement and the dynamic feel to it.
One of the ways we've expanded Kratos combat this time around is we've given more utility and choice to the shield loadout.
If you are a parry person, you could really go for a shield that gears towards parrying. If you're a big blocker, then you could choose a shield that will
A
really
shield
match your
for a
play
parry
style.
god.
One new mechanic or
Very
element
happy.
that I'm really excited about is these combo finishers. Building up the stun meter this time around is going to lead to different ways to basically decapitate the enemy.
You're going to be able to choose, which weapon you want to have when you kill a guy. Another
Jesus
feature
Christ.
that we've added for Kratos is his new pre-fall attacks. You could jump off a ledge, and if there's an enemy below you, you could slam down on him.
Build looks good. Looks good.
There's such an emphasis on verticality in some of these fights that it's super engaging. And as Kratos, now that you have so much mobility and that you can also take advantage of that verticality, I think it just adds such another interesting layer to a fight.
In God of War Ragnarok, we've enhanced the Kratos and Atreus duo. He's going to initiate a little bit more, be aggressive. He's going to fight alongside you, and sometimes even surprise you with his combo abilities too.
Some of the new expanded companion actions that you'll see Atreus do leverage the fact that he's older now, he's bigger now. And he's different from Kratos, so his magic has a different flavor.
Not only that they
Very
fight side by
sick.
side together, there are also a lot of mini games and player interaction modes.
Bro,
For
Atreus
example,
is just
the
beating
puzzle
people's
systems
A's.
and the set pieces.
He
We
does not
definitely will
care
see
anymore,
a lot
chat.
More collaborations between father and son.
There's so much
God,
that
I
goes
can't
into
wait for
building a
that.
big set piece. You basically iterate and iterate and iterate, and it takes testing and just seeing what works to really figure out the personality of something. Basically, every department gives it their all to make things really spectacular. There were a lot of different times that I would look back at God of War games just through the ages.
Yeah,
before
dude.
2018.
Oh,
There were so many
chat.
amazing, huge
Get ready,
boss
chat,
fights
for
and
God
set
of War
pieces that it was
3.
a huge inspiration
Get
for
ready,
me
chat.
on my time on
If
this
you've never
project.
seen that game, you are in for a
Our
treat.
design philosophy for creating new and memorable enemies is basically making them a combat puzzle, similar to like chess, and focusing on the chess pieces. Each piece has its own theme and its own use.
You need to be able to see what's happening in an instant and be able to react as the player.
There's a couple of different ways that we go into making an attack very readable for the player. Sometimes we add a signature audio cue, or we'll add the different rings, such as what we did in the last game, that lets you know that this attack is unblockable, you need to dodge it.
There's so many different ways that
I wonder if
Unbox
Kratos is gonna
really
get another
helps
weapon or two. It
not
would make
just
sense,
show what an enemy
but
is
I'm
about to do,
curious.
but show who the enemy really is.
It would be cool if he was able to get like a major weapon from the major races, so like the
The
elves.
design has to be surrounding the essence of the character and a story. It's what makes it believable and memorable in the first place.
I think what I'm most excited about is for players to experience the diversity of enemies that this game has to offer. You will be fighting everything from small little creatures to things that will take up the entire screen.
All of their designs run the gamut. I think each one looks so much different from the next one, and each of them have their own play styles and their own little fantasies that go into it. And so I think if you are really into Norse mythology, you'll be very interested to see how Sony Santa Monica has taken some of these
I can't
creatures
wait, dude.
and
I need it.
interpreted them for God of War.
I need
Everything
it.
that goes into the game, there's emotion behind it and intent behind it, and by the time it gets to you, everything that you've seen that you're going to play and experience has been sweated over, bled over, tested, and is fun to play.
You know what's funny, chat? In God of War Ascension, there was a creature that was like an elephant that made me. I love fighting it just because it would make the elephant sounds when we fought it. I mean, honestly, like, I mean, there's not even really anything to say, right? Like, at this point, the proof is gonna be in the pudding very soon. And everything we've seen looks great, but we still need to play it, right? We still need to see it. We need to see how reactive it is, the input delay if there's any. We need to see how epic it feels, how everything ties together. And I completely agree, Reb. Like, Santa Monica has definitely been one of those AAA studios that has been at the forefront, along with like Naughty Dog, of like accessibility, just like trying to add more and more tweaks and all of that to just make sure people get a chance to try to play the game. And I think that's awesome. Like, I personally, like, I can hear and see fine, but I mean, it's probably because of fighting game stuff. I use a lot of listening when I fight, when I play games. Like even more so than than looking. Unless I'm trying to parry, I will use sound a lot. I think we all do, right? So, like, visual cues for unblockables and such, audio cues, all of that is great. All of that is great. Yeah, I wonder, dude. I would love for them to give us a new weapon with Kratos. I mean, like, not that we would even need it. I think the two weapons and how it looks like they expanded it with more abilities and all that, I think that works really well. I don't think we actually need another weapon, but I really would love for Kratos to have back, like, the Sword of Olympus, or, I mean, just a sword in general. I mean, you know me, chat. But yeah, I will say this. I love the combat in God of War PS4, but there was definitely some, like, not jank, not non-polished, but like there were some limitations, especially when we were fighting Valkyries. You could definitely tell, and looks like they've gone out of their way to polish it and make things even more fluid. So, weapons from bosses would be cool. That would be dope, Cosmos. That would be dope. That's kind of how God of War did it in the previous games. You know, like, you'd beat somebody and you'd get a new weapon. You know, it was great. It was perfect. We'll see. They lied to us about God of War PS4 and told us that he wouldn't be able to use the Blades of Chaos. And we all know that ended up being one of the greatest reveals in video game history. So, yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing what we got. Parry God, Parry Shield, Blades of Chaos, Leviathan Axe. Yeah, this is gonna be great, chat. This is gonna be great. At least I hope.